Ladies and gents, welcome. This should be a really fun series. So if you haven't been following Huang, the player who I found years and years ago, who then moved on from his Huns and then moved on to his Celts and moved on to eating TCs in a very unique fashion. Huang's actually playing in my event, Titans League, Season 2 is coming up in January, February. What we have going on right now is the silver bracket. Sorry, just smacked my mic. To qualify for that gold spot. And so it's exciting to see this guy actually play tournaments. And he won 2 rounds already, and now he's in round number 3. So he would need to win this round and then the following round. And I'm going to spoil who he would be up against because I'm not going to be casting that series at all. The winner of this series here, it goes up against Overtaken. Overtaken, who is already in the first season of Gold and got relegated out of the group of death. But Overtaken is smashing everybody. So he will be the favorite if we get there. And we'll see if he's going to be up against Huang or up against the Argentinian talent Nahuel, who's around a 2200 elo player. Now, the thing about Nahuel you need to know, just like all the other players you're going to see in this bracket, more capable in normal settings, right? Like Huang typically plays one map. He typically plays one civ. He does branch out on occasion, but he doesn't do it that frequently. So when you're thinking, what to expect from this player, even if you haven't seen a lot from him, it's just that. It's being a more capable, well-rounded player. When it comes to Huang, he's got this interesting level of commitment with everything that he does. He knows how to commit to the fights, to the push, and then occasionally to the boom as well. And Huang actually won his game 3 in a best of 3 on this map with the Lithuanians. So he has committed to the same civ that he had gone for in his win against the Bohemians, actually. Against, I think his name was Mr. Planner. And you can find that on the Extras channel if you guys haven't already found the Extras channel. I don't know currently if this particular set's going to be on the main channel or if it's going to be in the Extras channel, but I've been seeing people comment on my Extras videos saying, oh, did T90 get a new channel? The other channel's still there, but I just want more content for you guys. I hope that's cool. How dare I give you more free content? So that's... it's on the cards possibly that this could go main channel or second. I just don't know how good the series is going to be, okay? I just have no clue. So, fortified clearing. You've got the walls on the sides. The walls in the front and then the openings on the sides. And this generation's a little bit more interesting than your standard generation because this can happen from time to time. We've actually got 3 relics towards the south instead of just 2. And then you've got another one to the north, right? But notice the extra golds are also there. So each player gets 2 golds. And you can see those 2 golds kind of where I'm showing you now. And then they get 1 stone, and then the extra stones are going to be out and about. But it's just like stone and relics to the south, extra golds to the north. That's just something to think about. This can happen like 1 out of every 10 generations. It's not a bug. There's tons of relics on the map. There's 5 to the middle. There's even gold and stone towards the middle too. Again, it just happens with random map scripts. But yeah, I expect Fast Castle here. And I think the key when you're up against Bohemians is to always hold map control from them in the middle. Because what Bohemians are really good at is pushing you in one position with the Halberdier and Hoofnitze combination that you don't want to get to later on. Lithuanians aren't a bad civ with that. Huang made a lot of monks in his first round and ultimately ended up with a forward castle on Bohemians, and that was kind of the end from there. So, will Huang do the exact same thing? We'll see. Will Huang be able to win a best of 5 when he can't play Celts on all these different maps? We'll also find out. He'd been playing random civ a lot on his ranked games, including one really funny game that's going to hit the main channel around Christmas time, I think, that I'm going to cover, where I played him, and it was unique, to say the least. I'm excited to bring my perspective on that. So elo-wise, you're kind of looking at... Nahuel's been around 2,300. Normally around 2,200. And then Huang around 2,300 or 2,400. And Nahuel just shot his boar with his TC. All right. Well, that's a great start here in a really high-pressure series for this player. He just shot his boar with his TC. And now he might not be able to go fast castle. Oh, buddy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, geez. That'll just ruin his fast castle here. Like, he was already going up pretty quick. Like, this uptime is really fast. He doesn't get the plus 150 food like the Lithuanians do. And Huang obviously had his boar. And then he also got that food. And Huang's going to be able to click up here. And I don't know how the build order is going to look exactly for Nahuel, but it's not going to be looking very clean. You jinxed him talking about his elo. Well, I blame the person who asked then. I blame him. Okay, so we've got a villager heading this way, which is super weird. And unless his strat is to sneak, it still feels very awkward. It doesn't have a barracks or anything yet, right? And if Huang's patrolling here, this villager will die. There's also wild animals that can sometimes be over here, right? Okay, villagers on the move. There's the blacksmith, there's the market. He will probably, like, honestly, in this position, he probably feels like he needs to sell his stone to get up. And I don't hate that decision if your plan is to pressure Huang around the sides. But look how Huang has played this. Huang hasn't gone for the full wall on the sides. He's just gone small walls. And so clearly Huang wants to push the middle in this game, right? Yeah, just not the start you would want. If you were going up at like 25 or 26 population, and he did... Oh, I got to turn the market events back on. He did end up selling his stone. But if you were doing that, I think it's a little different. No loom for this villager. And Nahuel will have seen that wolf, so he's going to try and avoid that. And Huang is a stable. Huang still hasn't clicked up, actually, but Huang will be able to make scouts. And this villager seems to be the most important thing to talk about right now for the Argentinian. And, uh-oh. 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 Huang didn't notice it. Huang did not notice that villager. That's such an important thing here. Oh, man. So I would see this stable and I'd be a little concerned. And Huang just going to send his scout around. Actually hasn't sent anything towards the middle yet, which is a little surprising. Neither player has, actually. And then we're going to have some walling here. I guess at this point, like, Nahuel's like, he could pressure me at my base, and we don't want that because we want to be able to focus on this push, which I imagine is going to be like Monk Spearman. So, no eco upgrades right now for Nahuel. Huang does have eco upgrades, and Huang has the opportunity to make scouts, but hasn't done so yet. The walls should get down over here, so he should be completely fine. And now scouts come home here. And I'm not sure if you want to show Huang that you're here, if you're Nahuel. And Huang's just going to run inside now. Yeah, Huang just wants to go to the middle. That's all he wants. Okay, he's going to make the siege workshop there. Interesting. I started to say no because I thought that maybe the house would give vision. Okay, and there's going to be spearmen there. I mean, spearman siege could be pretty strong. And also could take Huang off of this gold, right? Huang has no clue this is happening. Huang didn't have any interest in staying around this scout at all. He didn't try and follow it just to see. And so, obviously, the start was disastrous here for Yellow, but Yellow's actually going to be in a pretty nice spot. And there we have a monastery for Huang. And scouts to the middle. So Huang's probably going to get all those relics. But when will Yellow pop out with this siege? I think if you do pop out, you want to hit the villagers first, not the buildings. This would make me super paranoid if I was Huang, though. This scout keeps hitting me on the sides. By the way, I actually played Nahuel before in January in a tournament. It was Wandering Warriors Cup. It was a best of 3. It was a really close series. I played the guy. He's very good. It has what it takes to beat Huang for sure. Oh, he's being so sneaky here. It is rather ironic, too. The fact that he's going to try and siege push Huang, the guy who's known for siege pushing other people. Like, that's pretty crazy. Talk about sending a message. Okay. He's really waiting here, too. And Huang just has full coverage in the middle, and he's probably confused. Like, he's probably thinking that his opponent's on town centers behind this. Now, you hit the vills first, and then you go in through the walls. That's the way to do it. Oh my god, that was perfect. That was so much better than I envisioned. Oh my goodness. Huang loses 4 villagers. The third mangonel's on the way, and now Huang's got to freak out here and figure something out. He's going to be off of gold, and he could lose his town center here soon, so he's going to run to the middle, which was the smart play. Now, what a lot of people will do against the siege push, and it's one of the more important things that you ever want to do against Huang, for example, is a lot of those people are going to go for redemption. But I don't know if redemption is going to be possible if Huang doesn't have the gold. So you can see he's getting sanctity right now for monk HP. It looks like yellow is going to be bringing a monk forward, plus has the Bohemian Spearman here, and is actually just going to aim to take out the stable for the time being. A move that I don't hate. Sure, you've got the Spearman, but you don't actually want to have to focus on that too much. Now, Huang will have the better economy in the long run, you'd think, and Huang doesn't Garrison there to hit the Spearman, and Huang's going to get his TC eaten. What in the world is this? He's actually going to get his TC eaten. Huang, you're not going to eat my TC. I'm going to eat your TC in a freaking tourney, man. What on earth? The market for Huang's going up now. And he probably knows how it feels. He's like, man, I can tell why I do this. This is super annoying. He does have monks on the field. It feels like he's going to sell some stuff to get redemption in. So we can convert the siege. Which would obviously be a big play. That scout there goes in for a monk that then garrisons. And Huang, the master of conversions as well. He's so well known for that. Is trying to wait. And I'd like to see a few more monks here from Nahuel. Like, the weakness of this push could be the fact he doesn't have a lot of monks. The TC hasn't been eaten yet. Nahuel's adding a TC at home, so he's going to try and better his economy. The redemption upgrade is now 15 seconds away. Huang's got 3 monks, and there's 4 mangonels. This could make a big difference, but the TC will go down. TC's down. Sanctity's in, so the monks can tank a shot. And let's see. Is Nahuel going to fire? Does he even realize here? And his whole push could die here. He needs to back away. He needs maybe atonement so he could convert Huang's monks or something. But yeah, like, this is really bad for the siege push. You don't want to donate these to Huang. And Huang gets 1. And Huang's going to not get a conversion there, actually. Well, he's going to get 1 now. Doesn't get it. Wow, I remember in the first best of 3, Huang's conversion, let's just call it conversion luck, or many people call it skill, was really, really crazy. Now we've got atonement for yellow. I'm a little surprised he's still moving in, but obviously this is a stressful moment. He's trying to do things at home, and so mistakes can happen. And he just figures if I keep Huang off of gold, he can't make more monks, and another monk goes down! Huang waiting for conversions that may or may not come here. Atonement's now in for Nahuel, so he's going to try and convert Huang's monks. We have a full-on clowny game here, and the conversion on the monk's going to be perfect! 41 villagers with 11 army, and Huang only has 34 and 7. And he's panicking, man. I would be too. I just would have expected this would come from the other direction. Okay, Huang converts the mangonel. Okay, monks are pretty weak over here with no spearman support. Huang. Never mind. So Huang's still in this game. He drops a tower just to keep his area protected. I think for Nahuel, this is actually a good moment for you. You still pose a great threat to Huang, but this gives you a couple seconds to play some farms and do some other things, because it's not like Huang's going to address you right now. It is interesting, though. He's going to make a barracks here, and it almost feels like he wants to castle drop Huang from the other side. Look at that. He's actually transferring a ton over to stone. He wants to sandwich Huang, as Huang also goes for atonement. Keep in mind, Huang has 4 relics here. So Huang can now convert monks, and Huang's thinking about a siege push here. That'd be so sick. Reminder that yellow doesn't have redemption. So yellow cannot convert siege at the moment, and yellow is going for another town center. So this could always be a defensive castle as well if you think you're going to get pushed. I think that's always the safe play. But a really exciting game here, as Huang moves in with scouts to get monks. And the spearmen, again, are out there, but they're not there protecting. And in the end, a couple of the monks go down, but scouts also get converted. And these scouts, they're made to kill monks, and they're just going to kill monks on what used to be their side. Or not, actually. Or not. Or not. Or not. Okay. Okay, Monk ends up dying, I guess. Okay, so Huang's going for Rams, dude. Huang's going for Rams. He's 15 villagers behind. And you could definitely tell the way this game's shifting, right? Nahuel is starting to back up here. He'd probably be happy to just keep an eye on these golds for the rest of the game. If he sees the siege, he needs to drop his castle immediately. Oh, no, that's not the castle you want. If he makes it at home, he's fine. If he makes it forward, he throws. Oh, no. Huang should wait. Oh, it's so smart from Huang. If yellow runs, the knights can go in. Ah! Delete the vills. Don't open the gate. No! Panic. Oh, God. What's happening? Huang's coming forward with all of his monks, his siege, his scouts, his... everything. Oh, God. That was the worst thing that could have happened for yellow there, but he does make another gate. He needs to drop a castle. He needs to just get a castle down in front of his TC before this gets worse. It seems like he really doesn't want to do that. And Huang knows that that could be a possibility, so he's even placing palisades to block things off. Yellow, you have to drop your castle. Oh, my goodness. Huang's holding the gate open with the knight. He's got rams on the way. More monks are needed. Nahuel he's choking a little bit here, guys. But, you know, the experience that you need in Age of Empires 2, it doesn't come in on this map. You don't play this... excuse me. Players are not going to have high levels of experience in these settings is basically what I'm trying to say. Because they don't play this map a lot. And they don't play the game like this a lot either. So, really tricky situation. You can understand why it's easy for us to say what could and should happen. Because we can see everything. So, Huang has kind of been Huanged. And this is just like the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, what on earth is this? Just another Huang game for you. And Huang's going to drop a castle here. So it does seem like Huang can't really push. In fact, he's going to lose a monk here. That should be deleted by Nahuel. Okay, never mind. Monk's back on the other side. Over here, Huang's going to convert the siege. So that's good for Huang. Very good for Huang, in fact. So he doesn't have to worry about that. And I think Huang can do this if he goes fast Imperial Age into trebuchets. Which it feels like is exactly what he's going to do. Because he's dropping a castle here. He's actually selling his stone so he can go fast imp. And crazy market play from Huang, but Huang is now clicked up. Wow. So yellow's on 4 town centers. And in these types of games, sometimes 4 town centers, as the monk's going to get converted back. Sometimes that can be a little too much. Because the key's always trebuchets and monk upgrades and yada, yada, yada. Market and blacksmith now deleted. Huang, it wants to run in here. And that was so good from him. Converted the buildings. Now he's diving. This is the most awkward little army. But he's forcing reactions from yellow. And it's distracting yellow from being able to do what he needs to do, which is go imp. And he actually wanted to market too. And he lost the market at that time. Huang also loses that scout, sadly. But now he's repairing the ram. Man, Huang's buying himself so much time right now. Huang is doing a great job. Like, he's obviously been under heavy pressure. But I think he could actually do this. Because what I'm thinking is, what's the army comp going to be in the next stage? It's going to be monks and trebs. And Huang has 5 relics, by the way, which is nice with golden come. But he's going to have 12 monks versus 6 monks. And Huang's going to have trebs. And Huang also is denying all of his opponent's stone. And he's able to take his own stone. I don't even remember where at this point. Where's he taking stone? It must be on my screen. Oh, yeah, underneath the TC. So he could go for double castles, too. You just can't Huang. He understands the play so much better than everybody else. Now, you just do wonder, though, in these moments, like, how would it have gone if Nahuel would have just made the defensive castle and expected some type of pressure there? Like, that was literally the worst thing that could have happened for him, was opening the gate and losing villagers like that. And Huang's waiting. Surely trebs are going to come. Nahuel's got a massive villager lead. And he's thinking more of the standard stuff, right? So he's thinking, like, chemistry for bombard cannons. He might even be thinking pikemen and upgrades like that. Well, Huang's going to aim to push this before that really matters here. Nahuel just got loom. Oh, God. Did he really just get loom? Yeah, it's been a messy game. Overall, it's been a close game. We obviously had a great opening push here from Nahuel. Completely surprised Huang. But, you know, my introduction to the game and my description of Huang is that he just knows how to commit, right? Whether it be, you know, the siege all in, or in this case, the monks and the trebs. Love to see a second castle from Huang. Just make it in this guy's face. Surprised he hasn't used his treb yet on Nahuel's castle here. Which tells me some part of this is intentional. I don't know what's happening exactly, but he does have block printing on his monks, so that's nice. Oh, did he want the hill? There's actually, he might have wanted to be on the hill. That's actually so smart. That's really funny. You don't see that every day. Yeah, he gets a hill bonus there on that tiny little hill. Like, that's definitely something I wouldn't do. I just would have had the treb go on the castle immediately. I mean, ideally, you have it on the hill and treb immediately. But yeah, he's doing more damage because of that tiny little hill. Imp is going to be in for Nahuel, who's making more monks now, and he's got a lot of them. 11. And Huang doesn't really have more monk production. He's actually making Latus, which is a unit that has high attack, but also could be converted, right? So the monk numbers matter more than anything. 35 villager lead right now for Huang, who has an amazing position. He's taken out a castle. He's going to take out the TC. And obviously, this means pressure for Nahuel. He's now really pop-capped, so he can't make more monks. Just all the things you really don't want to happen in these times. And Huang making a blacksmith for the first time this game. Actually, that's not true. I think he lost his blacksmith at home before. Idle eco count's obviously really high for Nahuel because of this pressure. But remember, he has bombard cannon, and he has just as many monks as Huang. So can he monk micro as well as Huang? These Latus have so much attack. 13 plus 4 attack. That's a castle age unit. You're okay with giving up villagers here. What you're not okay with is giving up siege and monks. That's the way I see this. Very hard to cast these situations, guys, so you're going to have to bear with me. But Nahuel is getting some really valuable conversions. Converting some Latus. Converted some monks as well. I don't know if Huang got Illumination, which I think could make a big difference in some of these monk battles. I'd like to see Nahuel delete units at times. Actually, a Theocracy is just now coming in for Nahuel. Always important as well. God, this is so messy. But I'm trying my best here, guys. It feels like Nahuel might have the villager lead, but it's not really working like such, right? He's got 40 idols. Oh, man. Bombard Cannon might need to hop out here. And Nahuel needs to... Oh, my God. It's an evacuation with the vills, but he needs conversions. And he's going to have to be so good with the monks to actually make it happen. I don't think he can be that good with the monks, guys. He's got 13 in queue, but the Latus are killing everything. Huang's going to take out the Bombard Cannon as well. His Trebs are going to survive this, which means Nahuel loses all the buildings. And in a ridiculous first game of this series, I think the whole series is going to be incredible, by the way. I think Huang's going to take it. Nahuel calls the GG. And you just got to wonder, was it a misplay from him to open his gate there? Like, how would this game have gone if in the moment he just dropped a castle at home? It must be so frustrating. But from my perspective, guys, Nahuel had done everything right. Letting Huang into his base was all that Huang needed. Like, the eco lead was there. Let me go back to that moment. Right about here. Boom. At this point, it's 56 villagers versus 39. You actually have a better food economy than him. So Imperial Age should come in a little bit faster. I think in this moment, if you're yellow and you see the score and you realize the situation that Huang's probably been pushed to the middle with everything, you've got to know Huang's next move is to push the middle. A disappointing move for him. I realistically think that he steamrolls Huang as long as this pressure never happens and that castle would just gone up here. Huang would still probably try a fast imp, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a lot easier to deal with it if you're Nahuel. Why are we not seeing this? Oh, there we go. Perfect. So Huang takes the first game. Was a really eventful game, and now I'm excited because Nahuel both showed us that he can go for like off-meta pressure, but also that he is still, I think, the better meta player of the two of them because it turned into a more standard game where he was in position. He just needed to do one thing, and he didn't, and then Huang clamped down on him. So, obviously losing the first game versus Huang isn't great, but it's a best of 5 now, guys. So we'll move on to that next game. Let's actually, hold on, before we do, Yeah, there's the resources there. Now, yellow might have had more villagers, but the last like 10 to 15 minutes, the idle time was sky high, so he didn't collect like way more of everything. But so you've got to think here that, you know, with the town center and the farm setup, if those units don't run in, that you could go pikeman monk with trebs and bombard cannons, and Huang was just kind of stuck on the whole latest monk thing. It is interesting though. Huang has a 100% win rate with Lithuanians on fortified clearing. No one else is really picking that before Silver League. All right. Yeah, one thing I didn't mention about the first game is that Nahuel also got that lead after shooting the boar with his town center. So mistakes were made, let's just put it that way. And welcome to game number 2, best of 5. Huang showing everybody that he can actually compete in these types of events, which is exciting for me. And he's gone for the Italians. I'll also add that to the list of civilizations I have not seen anyone else pick for a map. Because, you know, I'd never seen Lithuanians chosen before for fortified clearing, and Huang has now done that twice. And I don't think I've seen Huang actually play out Takama yet, but he goes Italians. And I'm going to assume, as Huang says, lame or no. So Huang is asking his opponent the settings on the 3rd round of the event. Good to see. I imagine Huang probably chose Italians here because of the situation with the water. So Nahuel, he didn't lame or anything, FYI. I like how he brought his boar in like right after. He was like, Huang's asking me if we can lame. I'm just going to bring my boar in. But Nahuel is playing with a civ that I have actually seen on this map before. Dravidians, I think, are an underrated pick here. They're on par with Japanese, even. You know, getting the plus 200 wood when you arrive to each age is really helpful on this map. But, you know, having your dock count as a house as well allows for some really flexible builds. So I think, like, their ability to play into early feudal with some fishing ships is very strong. Though it should be stated that Italians are also fairly good at that as well. It's still cheaper to go to the next stage with Italians. You still have cheaper dock techs and cheaper fishing ships. But I feel like cheaper dock techs is not necessarily a big thing on this map because you don't see people contest the ponds too frequently. It does happen, and it might happen here because these guys are really close together. Like, if Huang were to dock here, for example, it'd be easy for yellow to contest. And it might be slightly easier for Huang to get down here, but yeah, you don't expect it to happen in most cases. So I'd never seen Huang play this map. Feels like if you expect the level to be close in any series, that Nahuel would want to get a win here, because otherwise he'd have to win 3 straight against Huang, which we don't know what the other maps are. We don't know what the other civs are, but I mean, there's going to be like some crazy one-trick all-inning civilizations available for Huang. So I could think Spanish and humans I'd be scared of with him. Obviously Celts, maybe Aztecs too. Just like civs that'd be so frustrating to play Huang against. But yeah, I like the generation of the map here. I like the confidence here from Nahuel to weaken the board with his TC after his mistake in the previous game. And I like the amount he's sending to wood right now. He is going to go for that dock now. And I'm curious to see, will Huang do that? I'm not seeing any sign that Huang will actually do that right now. He hasn't scouted the water. My opinion on this map has been, if you aren't adding fish, you need to kill villagers in early feudal. Otherwise, you're just going to be way behind. That has been my opinion from the get-go, but also what I've seen in terms of the results. So, very all-in play from Huang. Surprise, surprise. He's putting himself under pressure to do some damage with this decision. Because those couple fishing ships for yellow, they're going to be bringing in close to 1,000 food. It'll be slow, but it does add up. So if yellow can prevent taking any initial damage in early feudal, and still with the fishing ships, then obviously the economy is going to be stronger there. Gonna name of the game today for me is Hydrate, so there will be some pauses from time to time. And both players are fairly greedy, trying to get up fast, pushing in some food. Huang pushed in every deer. And Huang's going off to find the enemy. And Huang did place a barracks foundation, but isn't building it yet. And then doesn't look like Nahuel is going to be too far behind. Also looking to scout Huang. The generation's a bit to the side here. So I imagine to an extent, these guys are always going to scout the wrong area first. And we'll see if there's any gold miners for Nahuel. Sending more over to wood. This is a lot going to wood for a player who's going to receive plus 200 wood in the next age. And the Argentinian saw the barracks, didn't see the gold mine. And he's going to make his own barracks here now. Keep in mind, he's got a pretty significant eco lead right now. Huang, though, is going to be going for militia. So Huang, trying to play the standard, but guys, he didn't have a house. This is so bad. Like, those militia were in queue for a long time. I didn't realize why they weren't out yet. I was looking for the flag. So that means he's not going to have 3 militia till well after he's in feudal, which also delays the man-at-arm timing. So some people say, T90, you're critical with Huang, which is kind of funny because if there's one thing I could probably take credit for, it's probably for Huang's reputation. In the first place. Because I've known this guy for years. But, you know, the theme, I think, in the discussion that has to be had with Huang, I'm not being critical, it's the standard stuff. Like this here, for example. The one militia hopping out. This is a sign of a player who just doesn't do this stuff that frequently. And as I was saying, you know, Huang needs to brush it up a little bit. He almost traps in the scout there. Nahuel's going to see this. As speaking of bad timing, by the way, he's actually adding his militia now. So that could also be a product of the map. At least in yellow's case, you're putting a lot of wood and other things. But looks like it's going to be double archer range plus man-at-arms if Nahuel can afford it. And for Huang, it's just going to be one single archer range. Yeah, canceling the militia is probably not a bad thing in this situation. I can agree. You know, maybe he felt like the timing was going to be off. He sensed exactly what we were talking about. I think Nahuel's going to have an issue with where these units go from here. Like, he might set his gather point here and then have to patrol them, but it feels like there's going to be a time where he sets his control group here and the units are going to get stuck, which is maybe why he deleted that palisade there. Yellow actually made the militia and didn't click man-at-arms. It is cheaper with the Dravidians, but that might not be something he thinks of right now. And he's actually going for a 5th fishing ship in this pond. Usually the max you see in a pond is 4 on this map. But again, we're talking like ideal scenarios. It's so hard to like think about those specifics on this map. And yeah, there's the man-at-arm upgrade. Huang hasn't taken any fish whatsoever. We'll see another dock for Nahuel possibly. Huang thinking about going forward. This is as Huang as it gets. Literal AI army. Archers, skirmishers, spearmen, scout, militia. And Nahuel fights a little bit before man-at-arms. So again, if the timing was better there, he maybe gets the kill. He chooses to run away there so he doesn't run into the TC. And he's probably going to have ranged units coming forward. Huang's scout is dead. And Huang's still not showing me that this situation is going to go very well for him with how he's played it. Like, if you're not going to be docking, the opportunity's there in early feudal. You've got that window because you're able to spend your wood on the barracks. A failed man-at-arm timing into one range defense, and now all of a sudden Nahuel's all over his wood line. And Nahuel's getting fletching. Huang has fletching and armor right now, actually. So he is going to have the edge with upgrades, but can he control his gold and can he control his wood? Nahuel's just on fire, man. Look at this production. He's producing out of everything. The TC, 2 ranges, the dock. Also, nice scout activity as well, so he can scout the rest of the map or use the scout against skirms. All these things are very helpful. And Dravidian skirms fire faster, too. So even if it just becomes a skirm war from here, I think the Dravidian player is going to be really happy. And, oh my god, the micro! The messy micro from the Argentinian there. That was sick. And I mean messy with an I, not messy with a Y, if you get what I'm saying. I think Huang's in trouble. I really think he's in trouble. I think he's going to be outproduced. He's got 7 skirmishers queued up in the same archer range. He doesn't seem like he can really deal with the pressure right now. And I don't know what his long term is here. I think he's going to try and drop a market and buy his way to the next stage, but this isn't Arabia. He needs to have wood access, and he needs to have that gold access. And I'm just so far not really seeing it. That said, now I'll miss microing a little bit. Deciding to get the armor upgrade, which is never a bad thing with this many ranged units. And ooh, God. Okay, all right. These are the types of things that like Silver League players are going to do, like moments like that, and you maybe don't see in the top 20, right? Like the Platinum League that we're going to see in January. Okay, Huang's making a market now. It felt like the numbers were going to slowly add up here, right? Like these skirms should easily push back these skirms, and then the archers could be in here just snowballing onto the gold. But you never know. Huang is known for doing things with low eco. That said, there he goes. He's on his way up. He's on his way up. Don't ask me how he does it every single freaking time, man. Okay. Well, here, I mean, the pressure's getting out of control over here. That said, the berries, the villagers were out of a job anyways. Let's see how Nahuel's micro is. Typically, you're going to focus the enemy skirms down first, and then the archers come in behind. You can see he's queuing archers. Because you have the skirm advantage, so you just go, yeah. Just run around, focus their skirms, then your archers clean up the rest. These archers need to get here. Meanwhile, he's towering. Nahuel is probably terrified right now that Huang's up and Huang's going to make knights. How has Huang not lost a villager yet? I really don't understand. I can relate to Yellow's problems, though. This is an issue I have, too. It feels like I do the right things, but I don't execute with the micro, and I don't get the kills. And then that can mean that I end up losing the game. He's kind of... I mean, these skirms are kind of blocked off now because Huang has made the house. And Huang's like, just kidding. I'm actually going to run this way. It definitely feels like Huang knows that there's going to be archers on the way. Man, this is crazy micro. This is intense. And there's the tower. And here's a scout from Huang. Huang is going to be able to make like 3 knights with this eco. I think the important thing for Nahuel is that Huang can't have this gold fully saturated in these moments. And now, obviously, he's got to leave the wood line where he finally lost a villager. And Nahuel is now 2 minutes away. So Huang's got 2 minutes to kill. He's got 2 minutes to make it happen. His gold's disgusting. He's going to have 2 knights on the way. We might see Nahuel make some spears here. It's not a bad play. Huang doesn't have many range units left. And he also should be trying to mix in some archers still. But he's still having the same problems here. He's still, obviously, he's doing other things at home, most likely. Just to explain that, because a lot of people are going to wonder, like, what's happening. But clearly the panic has set in. The Huang panic that you feel. And he's got to pull back here. He stopped archer production. Huang's got 2 knights. Huang doesn't have siege yet. He's had to take this for wood, which is not so good on Atacama. But Nahuel could have some big problems here. Also, his civ can't make knights, guys. So he can't really make his own knights. Oh my goodness, no way! Huang's doing it. The scout's also very low HP. It's just something that I assume Nahuel just can't figure out. All right, so I have figured out the theme of this series. And it's why this series is going to be exciting, I think. You have one player who, like, Nahuel does the right things, right? Like, the timings are good. The map flood is good. But he just can't execute with the micro. And he can't make the most of the winning position all the time. And then you have Huang, who's just like Huang. Like, his early game's meh. He falls behind, and then he's used to that. He's used to that, and then he's just all in, all in, all in, all in, and then he can win. So, it should be fun. Huang's going to go for a monastery back here. And we've got 2 elephants right now for Nahuel. Is he going to counterattack with 2 elephants? These lumberjacks hate their lives. They keep getting tickled by these little spears that the skirms have. And Huang now, he hasn't even found where his opponent is. He doesn't even know where he can raid, man. That's so bad. Oh, God. And now there's going to be pikemen in on his gold. And there's a lot of weak fills there. And there's going to be an elephant. Huang doesn't have any defense. And Nahuel has correctly walled in most of his eco here. If Huang would have been able to find that, it would have been insane. But now Huang's off of gold. Still, though, Nahuel has only killed 1 villager, which seems insane. Like, I think we need to give Huang a lot of credit, too, for saving vills. This TC has gone up. Nahuel's now going to attack the monastery, or who knows those vills. And this is mayhem, man. Game 1, Huang started to get Huanged. ended up somehow turning it around despite being behind by 30 villagers. This game, I don't know how to describe it, but I can tell you that Huang can still win it because you can start to use the monks and the knights and turn that into some siege, which he's so well known for. Huang just lost a villager underneath his TC to an archer. Huang has to buy the wood now. Where's my market events? Okay, anyways, he's got to buy the wood for that mining camp. These villagers are running to the middle now, to where the main army is. And the main army is monks, and the main army is knights. And then Huang's here, and Huang's also killing villagers. And this game is insane! This game is insane. Also, mods, I'd love to just, delete the random comment we can in chat. That'd be great, but oh my god! Also... I was tempted to say nobody cares, but I won't say that. Where are these villagers going? Huang doesn't know. Huang wants gold. He's not sure. He doesn't have wood. Huang has no wood income, so he needs to use the market. You have one person selling wood for gold, one person buying wood. This is insane. And now Huang is sending 2 villagers here for a reason I don't fully understand. But they are here anyways, and now Huang is taking wood on the other side of the map. The entertainment factor of Huang is so funny. And it's like, it's a serious game too. I don't want to like act as though he's not really good. He is. It's just he takes what should be the meta and just flips the script, man. Oh my god. Now, if Yellow were to find this, if Yellow's elephants were to go to this gold, what a difference it would make. Huang's got so many vills that are one shot away from going down. And Huang's trying to take this gold away from Nahuel now. Oh my god. He's going to kill a monk. He does. The knights get in. Oh my god. The elephants aren't there. Nahuel's cracking again. No, Huel. No. Oh my god. It's so funny. Like, it feels like Huang's economy is amazing because every time I look, he's got resources floating. It's because he doesn't produce villagers. He somehow gets all this food. Huang's even converting crossbows now, and like that's going to be the answer for Yellow. And these poor elephants still can't find that gold. That's the difference maker right now. These villagers are just hanging out. We'll see if these villagers will get spotted. The good news for Nahuel, though, is that Huang's knights are very weak. He doesn't have anything else other than a couple monks. That conversion's actually very helpful because you know Huang's going to heal these things up. And yeah, you might as well delete it. Nahuel is making light of quite a few crossbows right now. Wow. Okay, so Yellow, is he going to see this? He can see the trees have been chopped, I think. That could be a capture age thing. But, I mean, he's probably wondering where Huang's taking gold. He just has not thought of that area right now. And Huang's going to go scorpions with his monks and with his knights because that's a very Huang thing to do. For Yellow, you'll happily take a knight here. You'll be very happy about all of this, actually. And you can also take the scorpion. And he's actually got a lot now. He's got a siege elephant, too. And Huang calls the GG. Only in a Huang game can it look like the opponent's completely falling apart, and then 5 seconds later, the opponent destroys him. What a crazy game. Holy crap. I think that Yellow was so close to killing Huang in Feudal. The fact that Huang had only lost 1 villager is what made the difference there. If he had lost 5 or 6 on that gold, which feels like could have easily happened, Huang doesn't have the same numbers. But yeah, Nahuel panicked a bit, but he was able to get it together. I think the fishing ships helped a lot here. Like that was at one point the only safe food eco that he had, which he really needed for upgrades and for pikemen. And, you know, while the confusion was there for a second on what he should make, he eventually just switched right into crossbows. And Huang was very late with the siege. He didn't have the siege at all. This was also a very creative hold from Nahuel. Like, it doesn't compute in your brain like it would in most games, but he kept the villagers on gold, which he needed. And he even wins the game without finding that Huang was on gold over here the whole time. Dang. Okay, so we have ourselves a very fun series then. And both games have been similar in that Huang tries to go all in one way or another, as you would expect. Okay. Well, as I just said, this series has been pretty much what you would have expected if you knew the reputations of the players. We've got Nahuel, who just responded, ties up the series 1-1. He's playing as the Hindustanis here. And we've got Huang, and Huang has gone for the Incas. So when you think civilizations Huang tends to play with, think of civilizations that are very good with monks, civilizations that are very good with all-in, and if it's not going to be all-in knights and siege, it is usually eagles and also monks. Incas are obviously very good at that, so that might be what Huang is thinking here. In his Serengeti game, that's right, the most open map in the pool we're using. In the Serengeti game, he went fast castle. It was like 14 minutes and 50 seconds fast castle, monks, eagles, all in. And his opponent also went fast castle. Just crazy stuff that you never see. So I'm curious now. How does Nahuel play this? Does Huang actually try fast castle again, or is it going to get punished? So personally, if I knew what I know right now, if I knew that that Huang had gone fast castle before on Serengeti, I would not go for scouts and feudal. I would actually go for man-at-arm archer. And the reason for that is Huang does these little weird walls that wall in towards his TC. Like I could see him walling like boop, 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 just like a little C wall, like the letter C. And Huang finds a way to keep himself safe from scouts, and then he ends up pushing you back with eagles. So I like any strategy that applies fast pressure and then allows you to range over walls. So maybe even like scouts and tower would be really good if you want to go scouts, because then you're punishing the walls with arrows on the other side of them. But yeah, who's to say that Huang can't play into, a standard feudal age strategy? He certainly has the skill to do it. You just never seem to see it. So we'll see. H90, nice game. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. And thank you, Julian, as well. So it's Nahuel? Nahuel? I don't know. It's just easier for me to say Nahuel, even if it's silent. Like, I'm not like, Nahuel, I'm not like super emphasizing it. So hopefully it's not too annoying. I feel bad. He actually messaged me 2 weeks ago asking to practice, and I just saw his message last night. So I don't know the result of this series, but he's a super motivated player from Argentina. I don't know exactly how old he is, but I think he's on the younger side. He's clearly got talent. Happy to see him here in Silver League. But he also knows Huang really well, as do I think the majority of the Argentinians, because I think like the Argentinian community is just crazy about Huang. And they also have quite a few like really aggressive players similar to Huang in their scene. All right. I'm a little worried about this Ville at the moment. And, okay, everything's fine. And so far, it looks like Nahuel will be going up to feudal. But it will be man-at-arms. That's the vibe I'm getting right now. Because the 4 on wood would normally not indicate scouts. For Huang, I have absolutely no clue, because when I look at him and I look at his base, I think there's no way you can do what he does, but he did it before and won. So we'll find out. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a really good Civ matchup for Hindustanis if they can get a castle up. It's not as good as Hindustanis versus Mayans because slingers can come out from the Incas, but that's not the type of unit that a player like Huang typically is going to want to fall back to. Yeah, I really like the thought process here from Yellow, who's now moving out to try and find Huang on the map. And Huang's getting Loom right now. Okay. And Nahuel... Ooh, dodges the TC fire. That could have been bad. Huang's going to click up. So changing his strategy. Okay, so this looks like this could be man-at-arms for him. I think we could see the same thing then. Huang did play King of the Americas, which was almost all Argentinian players. Yeah, I forget. I didn't actually cast any of that event. I think they had like Doubt, Huang. They had a couple invites which were not from South America, which was interesting. Like, for an event called King of the Americas, it's a bit weird to have a Vietnamese and a Serbian player. But I don't remember exactly. I don't remember the specifics of that. I know Huang was always a feature in that. Also, no extra sheep here for Huang, which could be a small issue, but he obviously got the free llama as the Incas at the start. Okay, so we're looking for standard play, right? What's the play when you're playing standard? Well, you need to scout the strategy. Nahuel didn't do that. Also, Huang didn't find those either. Holy. Huang, however, did scout this strategy. So Huang knows what his opponent's doing. And now yellow's going to see this. And dip away here from the eagle. Does take a hit. It will be 4 militia for Huang. And the Argentinian finds the goats. Take those things away. Run away. Go to the right. Take them. Hide them. Kill the militia. Free kill. All this is huge. And Huang just not quite as fluid with the build here. Still hasn't clicked the man-at-arm upgrade. And again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but these are the tiny things you talk about, right? You've got the archery range timing behind this. Very solid from yellow. So the basics of scouting your base, the basics of the builds and the timing here from Huang, a little bit off. But it is still going to be 4 man-at-arms and a full HP eagle versus 3 man-at-arms and a scout. So I think yellow will be happy for now to just lure Huang away so this big force isn't an issue for him back at his base. Also, yellow's going to find more sheep, which he should absolutely get out of here as well, if he can do so. And he's doing that. Can Huang see that? Yeah, Huang can see that now. I'm not really sure what you do about it. I guess you chase him if you get an opportunity. Range units are going to be coming forward. And even the blacksmith timing looks really good. This is clean play from yellow. So clean. Huang mixing in his skirmisher with his archers, expecting this pressure, expecting that he'll be behind with the archery range timing. But good news for him is his range units are here, so yellow's going to see that, pull away, and the range units will probably meet up towards the middle. There's not really a big elo gap between them. The thing about Huang's elo is that his elo is... There's a 200 elo difference between when he's playing all-in with Celts and when he's not. So Huang has hit 2400 elo, but when he was playing random civ, he's 2200 elo. So whereas Nahuel just, plays the same all the time, but doesn't have like the YOLO strategies in his back pocket, he just plays standard. So they're very close as far as that's concerned. And Huang loses his eagle there. Huang hasn't killed a single unit in this game. And Huang also doesn't have fletching yet. And Huang's just kind of getting massacred here, guys. With all the little things, though Huang obviously still in the game. And this weak scout won't do much for yellow right now. I would personally scout the rest of the map with that. But Huang didn't find 4 of his goats because he pushed in so many deer. Did he realize maybe? Like maybe he didn't know that was a thing? You could tell they're both a little hesitant. Yellow's like, I didn't see him, so do I go back or do I go forward? And he chooses to go forward here. Let's see what Huang does. Usually the right play here is to continue to dive forward if you're taking damage. Sorry I didn't show him losing the Vil. It's important I show what he does here, though. And it's important to see Yellow's reaction. And Yellow now is probably going to notice this. Now he runs away. And Huang drops the tower down on his gold. He's panicked. Yellow could have some big panic problems too, though. Losing that archer herd. And this is an awkward army, but an army that could still deal with him nonetheless. Still, he is trying to loot forward. And Huang can't tower the wood line too. And Huang needs to get range units over here. And you can tell Yellow's trying to block. And Huang now needs to leave the wood line. And Yellow's just going to fight this back with Vils, which I actually really like. Because Huang has to deal with this, right? So it's hard to micro both these things at the same time. But the villagers actually help out a lot more than you would think. And I think it's worth losing a villager or two if you clear up the whole army. Now, Huang didn't even want to allow that to happen. So that just is chalked up as idle time there for Yellow. And I think the most notable thing here, as Yellow loses, oh man, quite a few units to the town center. So you had 2 villagers killed by Yellow. But Yellow stopped army production. And Yellow has been completely off of gold, which is terrifying when you're up against Huang, right? Like, sure, Huang lost 2 villagers, but we know what he likes to do with his economy anyways. He's got a bigger army. This is just the dream scenario for Huang if he wants to try and rush Castle Age. So, well done from Huang there. And again, it's the same theme, right? Like, he doesn't have the clean builds, but if he can get to this type of position, you're terrified of the guy. And he's going to be playing into Eagles against a civilization that doesn't have knights. It's more so the Ghulam that you think of with the Hindustanis. But Serengeti's really open. Just things to think about. These Eagles have feudal age armor, by the way. Not something you normally expect to see researched. And it means the man-at-arms are also going to have a little bit more value here. Villagers, though, fighting back. Huang realizing some of this stuff is weak. Where's the market, Huang? We know you want it. Where's the market? This will get interesting now because you've got a lion attacking, but you've got scouts coming out from yellow. So scouts can start to push all this back unless Huang's on the way to Castle Age. Then it's not as big of a threat. Because Eagles get 7 base attacks starting in Castle. For now, though, they've just got the 4 base attack. And the scouts will also have forging. Man, this is crazy. Let's see what the execution's like from yellow with the scouts. It is easier to micro a scout skirm. At least in my experience. Huang is just going to like get this big ball and just patrol it in all together. It actually makes it harder for the opponent to focus fire things down. Oh, man. Huang's just got so much. Huang, like... People have called Huang a bot before. And he's obviously a human, but there's just so many instances when you're watching the guy play, it just feels like you're watching an AI. His army situation is just so funny to me. In the end, this kind of gets pushed back. We got another scout in the way, a couple more skirms. That's been the issue for yellow, is he just doesn't have the constant production. And there's Huang. He finished all the berries again. Just like last game. Like, he sends his whole economy to berries. And Huang's going to start to lose control now. He's probably going to lose his entire feudal age army. But he has traded pretty evenly in this game, which he'll be happy with. And he is probably going to click up to Castle Age here shortly. There he buys the food, and now he's on the way up. Yeah, so 20 to 20 KD, but one person's in feudal, and the other person's on the way to castle. If these scouts obviously move out and kill villagers, that'll be good for yellow, but... while Huang's behind in vills, when you think about Huang, you think, well, that happens with the guy. He had 3 minutes of vital TC time, and he lost 2 villagers, though. Just some massive differences there. He's got 1 barracks producing. He's still producing out of his range as well. Eagle, 2 spearmen, archers. Just daring his opponent to attack all the time. All right, well, these 3 scouts are moving forward. Yellow's going to try and get some walls down here. That's not going to happen. Huang's little itty-bitty army is going to be super annoying. Yellow's gone to stone here, clearly thinking about the Golem. And Huang wants to head over to this gold, but let's see if he notices that there's scouts here. Yellow attacks the house. Yellow now needs to pull off of this. Huang now notices this on the wood line, and he's gonna take losses. He's lost 1. Yellow's gonna lose 1 as well. Probably correct from Yellow to just take this gold and take this wood. Just forget this side of your base for the time being. And he kills 2 more villagers here, and that's gonna be 3 more. Really good micro from him. Look at this. Pulling away. He'll get a couple more hits. He might even kill that villager too if Huang isn't careful. But Yellow hasn't clicked up to Castle Age yet. And there's 4 eagles with 6 more on the way. And they destroy scouts. Now that the 7 base attacks in, plus the armor upgrade, they're really strong against scouts with no bloodlines. That villager did die, by the way. 7 to 1 eco KD. Huang's got 4 farms, but he's got a market. His best friend, the market. And Nahuel's still trying desperately. Actually, some sick micro here. Some really good micro. Just to whittle down the spearmen. Nice job. Now we'll probably take the fight against the eagles. Pull back again. Oh, that's really, really fancy schmancy micro. Just buying himself some time here. He's gonna YOLO drop a castle down, right? If he can get that, if he can make that happen, it should be awesome. But he needs 90 seconds till he can build it. Oh, man, I'm so scared for him. I'm so scared for Yellow. Fights with the vills. He's just, I gotta trade as much army as I can. He wants to weaken the army count from Huang before it gets too bad. But the scouts don't have bloodlines. The TC! Huang, not into the TC! Everything's perfect. Don't run into the town center. He's also over here. Okay, Yellow's got to pull vills off the woodline here. Like, this is going to get really bad. This is going to get horrible. Also, Huang needs to get out from underneath the TC again. But then again, Yellow's probably focused there. Huang is focused here. Okay. Yellow has a market. Quick wall. House. Palisade. 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 And palisade. Very well played. So he keeps those vills alive. He's got some leftover men-at-arms, which I don't hate. You got to YOLO drop that castle. No hesitation here if you're yellow. He hesitated so much in the previous... in game number 1. He could have won that game if you didn't see it. And he's going to get this castle down. And which should also allow him to freely take the gold. Probably needs to protect his stone, which he also does very nicely. Now, there's a lot of idle time for him. But we're going to see yellow with some scouts. And also with some golems. And this is not a unit that Huang has faced up against too much. It's a unit, though, that he clearly expects because he's out making the slinger. The slinger is the go-to, as I stated earlier, up against any infantry. And Gulem's going to take food and gold, though, for yellow, and he's got to sort out some different areas of his economy. Dang. This has been a crazy game. These villagers need to be working. These villagers probably need to leave. Huang's being really annoying there. The Gulems you'll want to mass. The scouts you'll want to use if you can against the slingers. The villagers will leave now from yellow. Huang's got 5 on food. He's trying to fix that. He doesn't have a single eco upgrade. He's behind by so many villagers because he rarely creates them. But he's always producing army. And so there's always this opportunity that he can kill villagers. And here's yet another opportunity for him. How many slingers do we have in here? 3? I can't click him. 3. But if you take out the slingers, then, and even just the range units in general, your gold miners will stay alive for now. He does lose quite a few Gulems there, but at least his villagers still continue to work, which is, I think, the main reason he took the fight there. He obviously needs to mass more Gulems now, which he's doing. And Huang is kind of running out of steam here, guys. He's not producing a single unit right now. Actually, as I say that, he produces slingers and eagles. But is it going to be enough? This skirm's going in for the slinger. The Gulems are waiting. And again, the theme for yellow is constant vill production, constant army production. Has gold income, has wood income as well now. And is going to end up taking this fight. By the way, these aren't eagle warriors. Huang never upgraded them. They're just feudal age eagles that he got castle age armor on. And that might be the game. Yeah, Huang also researching Bodcanero. Interesting. I mean, heavy commitment onto the slingers, I suppose. In most situations, once you survive the early threat from Huang, you end up winning in most situations. Because the way he plays is he sacrifices certain aspects of the game that normally take you into a better position in the long term in order to affect you in the short term. Now, he does have a tendency to go YOLO boom behind this and give it a shot. We are in a tournament, so it wouldn't surprise me at all to see some town centers. But, excuse me, as the town centers come up, the expectation in my mind is that the map control starts to fall apart. And can he really catch up on the economy when the Vill difference is as crazy as it is? Yellow had a winning position in the first game. It was a Huang masterclass to bring it back and win. But it's basically been 3 games in a row where Yellow's got the winning position. Looks like Yellow's in a position to close this one out. And Huang kind of struggling at the moment. Even though it's 60 kills and 60 deaths. Could be that the end is near. And Nahuel, though, we'll see if he drops a town center. He's going to drop it there. And let's see if Huang can defend from this. These Gulems are in on this wood line. Oh, man. I like how Yellow is actually just diving in against the slingers. He knows they have minimum range. And he knows it's probably tough for Huang to afford these things. So he just continues to just go snipe them. Which is pretty costly, but he's just like, I'm up against Huang. I just killed him. It's fine. Also, I like how Huang was able to get some damage in here, actually. Huang has killed more villagers than Yellow has now. And obviously realizing the Eagles might not be the play long-term. And relying more and more on the slingers. Still no bid axe. Still no horse collar for Huang. And Yellow having to re-wall this because he had deleted the walls a little bit earlier. It doesn't quite have the numbers there, so Huang with another clear up. The second town center is up for Yellow, though, who's already up by 15 vills. The KD is just so close, though. So I think once the Eagles are out of the picture, which is going to happen soon, I think you can just mix in some Scorpions. It's interesting how Yellow's had scouts. Obviously, you can't make knights, which is normally good against the slinger. But I think Siege Edition, if you're ever worried about the slinger, is always good. The thing that wouldn't worry me too much about the slinger is the fact that the Ghoulims can always run away, right? As Huang just sell... What the... He just sold all of his stone. He just sold a castle's worth of stone. So apparently he doesn't want to make Kamiyuk. Okay. What, is he bringing Nahuel forward too? What is happening right now? There's a stable. So Nahuel wants to go stable units to deal with the slingers instead of any siege. And he's going to go for light cav, which will be in 40 seconds. This is just the most Huang thing you've ever seen. The light cav obviously are going to... It's going to play a role here, right? Huang's got a lot of slingers. Light cav's not going to be in yet. But I like the meat shield that's offering, right? And the Eagles are going to need to be there for the light cav. And the Ghoulims are going to be there for the Eagles. Remember, Ghoulims, an anti-archer unique unit. That does bonus damage against Eagles as well. And yes, it's also attached to the civilization that has the fastest attack in camels up against knights. My opinions on that stack will be held back as I've expressed them many times in other videos. It's a really sick civilization. It's can beat any civilization. And it's getting worse and worse here for Huang, who still doesn't have Eagle Warrior, who still doesn't have a second town center, and is just falling further and further behind here. Now, Ghoulims are an anti-archer unit, our base. They're very good against archers, right? Like, a Castle Age Eagle is also like an anti-archer unit. You've got 5 Pierce. You've got high attack for what it does, I think. But yeah, they obviously have an additional bonus against Eagles, which I don't think they should have. But I was making a joke. I gotcha. I was being serious. You picked the wrong time. Yeah, they eat everything except for, you know, like knights or champions or something like that. 72 villagers versus 43. Feels like Huang is maybe one moment away from calling in here, and I think that moment's going to come in now. What a great job to recover here from Yellow after losing the first game. Like, that would have tilted me, man. I would have been really frustrated with myself if I looked at the stats post-game. But yeah, these slingers are all going to go down. There's no chance for them. And even though Huang's slingers are still going to get some kills in the Ghoulims, now he doesn't really have an answer to light cav. And the eco difference is just climbing and climbing and climbing and growing for Yellow. Played it really well. Like, his Feudal Age micro was really good this game compared to the previous game, which obviously was a different situation, but Huang in a big enough lead in Castle Age where I felt like Huang could have done more damage than he did. I wonder if maybe getting the Eagle Warrior upgrade instead of going, oh god, Huang wants the castle drop. Oh no! Hey, at least he gets the armor on the villagers with the Incas in Castle Age. Disaster. And Huang calls the GG. I think he knew, like, he's known for a while now that he was probably going to die. He figured, let's just give it one more go. Drop a castle on this guy's face. But him losing these villagers, obviously, is the end. And wow, okay, so 2 unanswered wins here from Nahuel after losing the first game. Huang needs to win 2 straight, guys, which was the exact situation he was in the previous round. He lost game 1 in a best of 3 against Mr. Planner, and then he won 2 straight to move on to here. So I don't know what the maps are. We'll find out, obviously. Huang will have 2 home maps available. We'll look at that next. But just to sum this one up, Yellow played very standard this game. He outplayed Huang. He had a cleaner eco setup. And I think you could argue a better civ for the map. You know, I just don't think Incas are super well suited for this type of map, and any civilization that has stables available or any like really fast units tends to be better. Clearly, it's good for Huang, though. He likes his Eagles. He likes his monks. Just couldn't get there. All right, so game number 4 in this crazy series with Huang. And he actually falls back to Ravines, which was a map that he had lost game 1 on in his previous series. And if I recall, I think he was Saracens in that game. And he went all in with like crazy crossbow numbers. Then eventually didn't do enough damage and then died. That's kind of how most Huang games go if he loses. So he was Saracens then. up against Mongols. And this time we have the Tatars for Huang, and he's going up against the Burgundians. Now, I made the joke and brought up the point that it's kind of funny to me that Huang would pick a map where it's the most difficult to take out someone's town center. Because in order for you to take out someone's town center with mangonels, you'd have to be down here. And that means they're receiving less damage from your attacks. So I don't think Huang's going to actually try and eat TCs. He might just try and eat all the units and pressure the units and villagers around the TC. Now, I'm not sure I'm in love with the Burgundians if there's another closed map available. Like, if there's Arena left, I'm not sure about picking Burgundians here. But I have to assume that that's probably not the case. And Burgundians can always be good then if you get some walls down. The Tatars, I actually think, are an underrated pick for this map because you have lots of sheep, but you're normally not relying on the sheep. You're relying on the hunt for the start. So my first thought, as Huang lumber camps a tiny little wood line here, my first thought is actually that Huang might go fast castle. Like, think about how Burgundians typically play. They research their eco upgrades an age earlier. They wall up a lot, right? They don't really go aggressive. What if Huang just goes fast castle? So right now he's got 6 pigs remaining. And that's 6 times 150 for food. Then he's got 10 more deer. Then he's got double berries. And his opponent might not go aggressive? I mean, I think his opponent should go aggressive. I think you shouldn't sit back too much with the Burgundians, and you could still go for something like scouts. But this is Huang we're talking about. The guy who went fast castle into Eagles and Monks on Serengeti last week. So I'm thinking Huang goes fast castle all the way. He's got to go back to his roots here, man. I don't see him going feudal age. But yeah, so spoilers, because I will not be covering it. The winner of this series will face Overtaken in what will be the final round of silver in a best of 5. Overtaken has not only won every single game that he's played in all 3 rounds, but he's like just destroyed people in his games. I would have to actually fact check this, but I glanced through some of the stats, and I think he hasn't had a single game go over 35 minutes. Like, I think that's just how dominant it has been for him. And I'd said in my prediction that I think my prediction video before the whole thing started was that Huang would lose to someone like Nahuel in this best of 5. But if he got through Nahuel, or anyone who got through the other side of the bracket would just get smashed by Overtaken. But yeah, I'm not committing to casting all the round 3 because there's 16 best of 5s, which is a lot, and I'm flying home for family in a couple days. It was never part of my commitments to make sure that I covered as much silver as I already have, actually, but people have been enjoying it. Feedback's been really cool. I was wrong, by the way. Huang's going to try and go feudal. But what I will be covering 100% is the 8 best of 5s that determine... Or, sorry, actually, it's 9 best of 5s that determines who goes into Gold League for the second season. Which will be... the 29th, the 30th, and then the 1st is when I'm going to cover those. So I'll probably do like, it might even be the 2nd. I don't know exactly yet. But obviously it'll all be on YouTube later. Did he have a game that went on long? Okay, gotcha. Well, I was mistaken. Basically, Overtaken hasn't lost a single game, and he's shown no weaknesses so far. And if you remember, Overtaken... was in the group of death in the first season. He was in a group with Sebastian, Kingston, Sato, and Daniel. And he got 5th place by losing 1 game. So odds are that he's going to make it back. But we'll have to see, right? All right, so Huang's going to go scouts. As for Nahuel, he's walling at the moment. Doesn't have a barracks yet. So no sign of what exactly he's going to go for. Could honestly just be walls into eco upgrades. Huang hasn't left his base yet. That's not horribly uncommon, actually, on this map. And the outpost actually is telling him that Nahuel's scout is here. And this is going to be a huge find for him if he... Are you kidding me? Okay, now he sees it. I was going to say... Man, that would have been unfortunate. But yeah, he's going to get some nice, valuable hits here. And he hasn't seen his opponent is up yet. He is going to add a stable anyways behind his base. Interesting, Krillin. I don't know if I'll ever get to see it. I did actually see the Humans Khmer game that they had played. It looked really fun. I've got a lot of other things that I want to cover and bring to the channel over the next week, but if you could put it in game submissions, it might be one that I could end up covering in the future if it was really good. Anyways, Huang came in close to the TC, but he's able to now see what his opponent's up to, which is not too bad. So you've got a weak scout here for Nahuel, who is seemingly just going to go Spearman and Eco. Huang made the stable and isn't actually making any units because he saw the wall, which is so smart. Like, it doesn't seem like it should be that big of a play. Like, oh yeah, obviously his opponent's walled. But typically, players are just going to make the scouts. You make the stable, you normally see 2 or 3 scouts for map control. And I don't even think it would be that bad if he did that. But my initial thinking with him was fast castle, right? So this is going to take him to a faster castle age. But his opponent's going to have a castle age wood upgrade. All the farms have been placed with a feudal age farm upgrade. Also saved resources on all of this, as finally this will be fully walled on the left. So, yeah. I mean, eventually the eco is going to be insane. But still, I just absolutely love Tatars. Like, Huang hasn't had to make a single farm. And he's been working off of his sheep here for so long. And here he goes with a couple of villagers to the right side. So no Celts for Huang. I don't need to see the draft to confirm that that was probably banned out from him. No scouts from Huang here as he wants to kill this scout. And he got a little over ambitious there as he now sells his stone. And he's going to click up. What is Huang's choice going to be here? Is it going to be knights? Like knights and... It feels like he wants to go Spearman Siege, actually. Is he actually going to try it? There's no way he tries it, right? I want him to. Please, please, please. Please go Pikeman Siege and try and eat the guy's TC who's on the hill. I have to say, the Burgundian eco doesn't feel near as strong on this map. Like this, yellow's not even close to clicking up. Again, just reinforces my thought that Tatars are really good here. Okay, he's walling in his wood lines. Okay, he's going to get a nice poke there. KD's 1-0 for Huang. So he still has his scout, and he just saw the TC, and he must be thinking, can I get that thing? Honestly, the only thing I'm seeing... He's going to do it! He's going to do it, because he needs a blacksmith. And you need a blacksmith before the siege workshop. Nahuel trying to kill this villager. This guy's just not having it. Come on, Huang, let's go. You know you want to. Let's go. A couple stone miners here for Nahuel. He actually sold the stone. I think he knows Huang is up based on what he sees. And okay, don't get excited. He's actually going to go Cav Archers, guys. Which I like a lot more than I like the siege play. But it's worth reminding everyone that his eco is kind of at the limit right now. Also, very nice snipe there from yellow. Also, love the fortifications on the sides. Even stone walls now. Huang with 0 farms. Does have berries for food eco for now. I think in the long run, what you would want if you're Burgundians is you'd probably want the Coustier out of the castle. But are you going to have the stone for that? Will Huang know about that? Okay, another gold mine now for Huang. And yellow's going to see its Cav Archers. Huang's got a lot of time here. If there's a hole, you could die, right? But if there's no hole, it's manageable. I think it just gets more awkward if Huang runs in or if Huang knows about your stone. It seems like Huang is coming directly to the stone. Like, there's no way Huang doesn't try and deny this. I wonder if it's worth towering this. Huang's got to camp that. Huang Spearman makes it through and dies now. And yeah, he's just going to tower it. You have to be really careful, though. Like, if Huang was over here, he could try and run in. And a couple Cav Archers back here with how much time Huang has could be devastating. These are Tatar Cav Archers. Tatars do more damage when on top of the hill. But then also Tatars have Thumb Ring for free in Castle Age. And so I think the whole castle idea for yellow has been abandoned. He actually sends more villagers over to gold. And he might play into, like, knights, I guess. Which could be okay, but it's going to take some time to build it up. And the big issue I have for him is he doesn't actually have a ton of wood. Normally you want lots of wood floating, so you can go for a second and third town center with Burgundians. Huang's going to dive! Huang's going to dive! This is the threat! This is right before... Oh, no way! What a great play from Huang. It's so smart. And yellow knew this threat could happen, but the thing is, you're still going to get through with some cav archers. And Huang kills 2 villagers, takes his opponent off of gold. His opponent can only make knights out of 1 stable now, and everything falls apart. Oh my goodness. Also, no blacksmith upgrades for yellow either. He just thought he'd have the time to mass the knights and wait for the upgrades. Huang with the perfect play there. Kills 5 villagers. And the Cav Archer play is obviously paid off. The decision to dive there is paid off for Huang, who's now going to get Bloodlines. And we might have ourselves to game 5, guys. You need quite a few knights to be able to fight back these Cav Archers if they're sitting on the hill. And Huang's... Oh my god, he's adding farms! What? He's adding farms. Alert, alert. He is a complete player now. Alert, alert. He's going to get housed in a second. Looping over here. Sees it. Looping over here. Spots the villagers. Oh, yellow doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know where to react. Wonder if Huang will build up towards monks, maybe? Or ballistics, possibly? I mean, it feels like you've done enough without ballistics where you don't need to rush it. Like, you've already killed a lot of villagers. Classic Huang game, though, when he's killed that many villagers and he's still behind in villagers. Gotta love that. Only 3 knights for yellow, who now has to try and stabilize here with a tower, which feels necessary, but obviously doesn't feel great. And even the food eco now is a problem. You could tell Huang was thinking about running through again. I'd like to see Huang get some eco upgrades now and consider a second town center. And oh my god, he does it again. He just runs right through. I mean, he only lost 1 Cav Archer. It's really smart. Now he's got to look for the lumberjacks, right? That's the one thing he hasn't really looked for. He sees this lumber camp. I think this is going to make him think about it. Huang, go for the wood, man. Meanwhile, Huang has to back away here because the knights are coming in. He does have a camel, though. Really good micro from him. That's perfect, actually. Pulling the weak ones aside. Huang will kill villager number 7 there. If he goes here, the game's over. If he kills these villagers, it's GG. Obviously, wood is a necessary resource here. If I'm yellow, I'm trying to panic up a town center in this corner. But, you know, maybe you just have to hope that Huang doesn't realize. Okay. There's Scorpion. Obviously going to be helpful. The tower fire is also helpful as well. Huang's killed 9 villagers now. He still hasn't lost that many Cav Archers, but a lot of these are weak now, as he goes for the second armor upgrade, too. Dang. Look how much damage these Scorpions are taking when the Cav Archers are on the hill. Again, I'm just going to restate it. If Huang actually looked for the woodline, he would win. I don't know what he's expecting. But, oh, no. Yellow's going to get the town center up. It's so tunnel visioned. It does feel like Huang will eventually drop some eco behind this as well. Man, this town center going up is just something that you usually would never see in these situations. Huang has played it borderline perfect so far for his style. But that's the one thing he might live to regret here. And great job from yellow to repair constantly, but is losing so many villagers. And the hope is that the Cav Archers slowly, like, suddenly go down all of a sudden because they're so weak, but, like, Huang just has more of them, right? Because his eco is actually working. Yellow's eco is disastrous right now. Cav Archers here after a Scorpion, repairs. Cav Archers here after a Scorpion, repairs. Garrisons. You could tell that yellow knows how to hold on in these games. This TC creating villagers. 37 villagers versus 41. Interesting, interesting. total efficiency's obviously been awful for yellow. Worker efficiency last minute, 47%. Overall, 66% versus the 82% of Huang. Cav archers have worked wonders this game for Huang. Can he take it to an all-important game 5? Like any other map, Huang would have gone siege already. This map would really like to just see him boom. But if he starts to boom, he doesn't become the same player. Like Raz in chat says what I've heard, you know, for ever since I brought up Huang to the scene in like 2017. Says, low-key, I feel like if Huang really grinded out meta, he could go far in tourneys. Here's the thing. Huang is as good as what he does. Like, all the good things you see about Huang is because he doesn't grind out meta. You only arrive to the situations that Huang arrives in, good or bad, if you do not play the meta. And if you have your own little sense of style. So, you live by the sword and you die by the sword with Huang's style. And right now, he's living by the sword, despite being down a game. These Cav archers will probably finally die. I think Huang's going to see this and be like, no! And get frustrated with himself. And he's just going to dive in again. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Let's go. We dive by the sword. Underneath the town center, which we've said, what, 6 times this game? And Nahuel's got to be thinking, are you kidding me? Town centers are supposed to scare people, man. They don't scare Huang. That's what Huang has for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so he understands those things well. But still, yellow defends pretty nicely. The town center was there to protect. Now the Scorpions are going to have their work cut out for them, but... holy moly, man. 18 villagers lost by yellow, but it's still tied with Huang. And Huang is full micro mode. He's not booming at all, right? But the micro would obviously suffer a little bit if... he had to boom as well. That's the tricky thing about it. Yeah, and I wonder how long these villagers were sitting over here, because I think yellow just sent... oh my god. Huang tries again. Yellow at the gates, though. And the Scorpions could get some really important shots here. Oh, no, but the Knights made it through! The Knights making it through will end the game. You know, for Nahuel, he also probably didn't realize that the Vil count was what it is right now. He knew that he had lost a lot, but he probably doesn't realize he's only 3 villagers behind. But yeah, these Scorpions go down. He can't really afford to make more of them for a while. And even though Huang delays his booms, eventually he just had the better eco on 1 TC. So the series is tied up now, guys. It's a crazy series, and the final game will be coming in shortly. Huang's doing it. He's actually doing it. And full credit to him. He realized the situation. He's like, Burgundians will have better economy than me if I don't do damage fast. He saw the walls, and he said, I know what I'll do. And diving underneath the TC was so freaking clutch. If he didn't dive underneath the TC, I have no doubt that yellow just beats him. With how good yellow played, despite losing 21 villagers, yeah, if the Cav archers don't get back there, yellow dominates Huang. So Huang... knew he couldn't allow it to get to that type of position. Impressive. All right. We are here, game number 5, in what's been a ridiculous set. The games haven't been super long, but they've been very aggressive. And the tale has been that Nahuel is more prone to playing the meta. He's better off in all aspects of the game, I would say, except just that all-in smothering aggression that Huang is able to find himself in early Castle Age and early Imp. In game number 1, Huang was way behind. He brought it back with a castle drop, fast trebuchets, and army. In the other games that where Huang has lost, it has been Nahuel with the technical micro, the good builders, the good vision, and the general standard play. But standard play can be punished by Huang's style if he finds the right moments. I'm excited to see what happens here. Now, there was an event called Visible Cup, which was like 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. And I think it was that event, yes. And Huang played a player named Hallis, very good player. Shout out to Hallis if you're out there listening. Wish he was playing in Silver League, but he can't do so because he works on AOE4 now and he can't work on Microsoft events. But anyways, he played Hallis, and Huang made 2 fishing ships on this map. 2 fishing ships on this map. And back then, was one of the biggest examples of why Huang couldn't play in tournaments, because you're just like, Huang doesn't understand the real game. He understands Celts, he understands ETC, but he can't do all this other stuff. So I'd be curious to see how Huang plays it. He didn't dock on the other map that had fish in it earlier in Atacama, and he lost. But that was mainly a strategy decision, you've got to think. And anyways, he's Huns, which is a civ he's very familiar with, because for years and years and years, he only played Huns. I used to spectate him hosting 1v1 Hun 2K plus games. Me and like 20 Spanish-speaking community members would be in his lobbies like every night. It was like, back then it was a smaller scene, right? And so you'd only have like maybe 500 people online at that time. And so it was just a hangout space for people who would just hang out in Huang lobbies and wait to see what poor soul would have to join and play. And then what would happen is, so back then there was no ranked queue, right? So everyone would sit there, and there'd be someone, Huang's Elo, sitting there spectating, and all the specs would be like, yo, T90, up. Because you could add yourself as a player by sending yourself up in the lobby. Up yourself. 14, up. Everyone just wanted to watch people play Huang. Now there's a ranked queue, so people can't really avoid him, but yeah, that's kind of how it went back in the day. It was so fun, man. And then, like, the game would... So back then, there was spec chat, too. So, like, spectators could type as they're watching, and it would show up for other spectators. So it was a really fun experience. And it was just... Ja, 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 ja. The 11, 11, 11, 11. And just, like, all the... People would just die laughing. Oh, man. So, yeah. Anyways, I went off on a little tangent there. But Huang is playing meta. He's going to fish. He's going to... start there, at least. And he's pushing a lot of food at the moment. I could definitely see Huang going 1 TC, Fast Castle. Yeah, I could see him going. And so what some people will do is they'll go 4 fishing ships, which Yellow's fish is down here. They'll go into like man-at-arms, archers, and then they'll expand to other ponds and add fishing ships there, and then in their original pond, we'll maybe get like a 5th or 6th fishing ship in mid-feudal. But if Huang really wants to go crazy, I could actually see him just overproducing fishing ships in that one pond, hoping he doesn't lose fish, and taking it from there. Yeah, it was kind of like in-game stream chat, yes. But yeah, I just have fond memories of watching Huang, right? And it was a different time back then, and I'm really happy that Huang has become as active as he has come, because he wasn't very active back then. And honestly, you'd have to ask him, and I could always email him to confirm it. But I'll be honest with you, I think DE, where he can actually get games instead of people not wanting to play him, I think that's a big part of Huang playing all the time. And then also, he lives in Vietnam, right? So like when he streams, he gets a couple subs here or there. He's got like people watching YouTube videos, and like all that income, generally speaking, comes in US dollars, and that goes a long way in Vietnam. So I don't know his exact situation. I do see he's on his way to feudal age right now, but I could tell you that, like, I think the community, watching and having interest in his games is what makes him more active, which is really cool to see. So we got militia here for Nahuel. So Nahuel's going to find Huang. He's going to find Huang's dock. He also saw that Huang made a mill. That's not something you see every day. Huang has not found his opponent's TUC. He has not found his opponent's dock, and he doesn't know his opponent's making militia. Yeah, another example of just tiny little things you typically talk about that Huang just doesn't have as an aspect of his play. But what he does have is he understands, I don't see this. I understand what can happen to me. So I'm going to pre-wall this. So very nice play there from Huang. And he's making his wood line protected here with the palisades. He's going to go for an archer range. And then there's an archer follow-up here for Nahuel, who also is sneaking a vill. And, like, clearly, to me anyways, as he also runs in towards the town center fire. Might even be worth canceling the man-at-arm upgrades here. But he's going to sneak a dock, and he's going to try and take out Huang's fish. Huang had not scouted that at all. I felt like it would be really difficult for Yellow to ever make this journey, but he just walked right through the middle of the map. And Huang's going out to this gold while also going out to this gold at the same time. So he's just a bit all over the place and indecisive at the moment in the all-important Game 5. I still think Huang is trying to fast castle. Look at his resources. Feels like one fire galley here, though, and the fishing ships are dead. And yellow with all this pressure, this crazy pressure. He's got the position to be able to kill Huang quickly here. Huang looks like he's in a horrible position. So, again, just to, like, bring up the point that was brought up earlier, someone said, I feel like if Huang were to just play meta and then do his thing later on, that, you know, he could end up being, like, a top 20 player. No one ever leaves themselves this exposed, because if you leave yourself this exposed, you just die against the best of the very best. But Huang leaves himself exposed for an end goal, which he deems worth the risk, and that can work at times. Can it work 3 times in a best of 5 when he can't play Celts? We're going to find out, but Huang's got ranged army to defend here, and Huang saves these villagers. And yellow is killing Huang's fishing ships. That's where the eco KD will start to change. Yellow's got a lot of focus on army at the moment, you'll notice. Like, he hasn't added more fishing ships down here. We'll see if he adds fishing ships there. He might not. But he wants to kill Huang before Huang can make the castle age. And we even have a dock over here, which is going to be more long-term fish for yellow. And Huang's up! Huang is up right now. Oh, my goodness. Sold all of his stone as well, man. So, he also has this 100 wood that he just left here. He's just... I guess he doesn't need it right now. Did he buy wood at all? The second he buys wood, I have to laugh. Okay, Huang. Falling back off his hill now has lost another unit. Does Hoang know where his opponent's TC is? He does. He was there before. Loses a vill now, so has lost 3 fishing ships and a villager. Hoang has 0 on food. Still has 100 wood just sitting here that he could delete. Nahuel's got archers. He's also got skirms, and he must be terrified because he knows Huang's going to want to go in for knights. I like this fight, though. The militia are actually going to help out a lot, being Japanese militia, even though they're weak. And Huang knows this is bad right now, which is why he's pulling villagers to fight. Still not much of a follow-up army, right? Like, this is a moment, if you've got 4 or 5 archers, all these villagers start to die. It's not happening. And all of a sudden, Huang's sending villagers to the side. Yellow's going to know why that is. And I'm a little concerned for Yellow right now, only because he doesn't have a big fishing ship count. Typically, before you're on, like, 4 ponds, which he's doing, you're going to want, like, 12 fishing ships. You're going to want, like, 4 to 6 in each. That's the more efficient way to do it. And then his food count will be better to click up to Castle Age. He's kind of full feudal here. Mining camp's still sitting there. I just can't. And Huang's going to go for the monastery. Like, yes, it is correct to dock, but you will never see, if we're talking the top players, you will never see this dock over 2 fishing ships here. Because you need the whole idea is to get the food eco. And he's worried, guys. Huang's going to have knights. Huang's going to have monks. And Huang's going to come eat this TC. Huang is not playing this map as anyone else plays this map. It's game 5. As he just runs forward with these villagers. He doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. In the moment, he probably is able to calculate it too. Like, my villagers have made him think that he can attack them when they can't. There's the blacksmith now, and here come the knights. So I imagine Yellow's probably going to be making a lot of fishing ships now. He does have gold back here if he ever needs more gold. And the Japanese spearmen will be super helpful. They do attack a little bit faster. Huang's going to want to heal up this knight, which is weak. And he is going to get that done, too. Look at that. So one of the best things you can do against Huang is full feudal the guy. And try and kill him. As Huang blocks it off. That block might save his monk. And it does. They use all your food income instead of going up to make a bunch of spears and a bunch of scouts and all in to kill this. Huang's making it right in front of his face. Meanwhile, still wood there. Okay, Huang. He's focused. He forgot. But what's this guy do really well? He gets value from monks. And he gets value from siege. And he gets value from knights. And I guess you could say he gets value from villagers, because he doesn't create too many in most cases. Now you've got the fishing ships out. So now the food income's looking better. You got a couple here. Don't really have much up here. You're going to have a stable from there. So Nahuel's going to try and attack Huang's main eco. He has double the economic numbers. Double. But can he survive? Because Huang's starting to mass some siege. The scouts here from yellow. They go in for the monk. It's looking so good now. Any of the monks that you can pick off here is going to matter so much. And he gets another one. Obviously has to pull back here. Scorpions will be scary for the spearmen. Maybe you fight now, though. Maybe you take this one. Yep. Okay. Can I just stop for 1 second? He's collected 1,500 more resources. This is just Huang using the market and having to get maximum value from a little army he makes. Obviously, Feud Lage Army is way weaker than Cast Lage Army, and now Huang's going to dive underneath the tower. The tower is the one thing, like, I understand the decision, but the tower is the one thing that I don't think has done a lot here for yellow. But he knows. He knows I can lose some villagers, so he's going to fight this off, but not against Huang. Huang just repairs. Oh my god, dude. Poor yellow's under so much pressure right now. This is unbelievable. You guys can't relate. Until you play this guy, you just truly don't know. Because in reality, what you want to do against this push, by the way, is you want to wait as long as possible before you engage. But the more you wait, the more patient you are, the more Huang starts to threaten you, right? So you really can't wait. And so then you do things like this, and you take a fight that... I hate it. It just hurts. And then Huang will heal up his knights if they took any damage but didn't die. And he'll repair his scorpions if they were damaged but also didn't get destroyed. 54 eco versus 31. Tower is going to be the next target. You could tell yellow's trying to buy time. And yellow's finally going to make some scouts from here. And I mean, that's good because Huang's got nothing at home. Dang. We have more scouts now. Yellow's got 12 fishing ships. Still bringing in food all the time. Huang's got 2 farmers and a couple berry villagers. And a mining camp he still hasn't deleted yet. The KD's fairly even. But it could be Yellow's TC that goes down next. And I feel like Bloodlines is a necessary upgrade for him. And do you guys wonder if Huang is looking back at his base at all? Huang. He notices. He notices. So he's lost some villagers on his wood line. Meanwhile, what's he do? He sends everything towards the town center because he knows this is bad for him, but he also means that there's not as much defense here for yellow. Inside of this town center are a ton of spearmen, but Huang is waiting. He's sitting here. He's patient. And yellow's going to send villagers. And Huang has more army, but there's Japanese spearmen there. They popped out at the right time. But can the scorpions take the spearmen out? Spearmen are so vulnerable against scorpions. Meanwhile, the scout shows up. The scout does a good job to delay. The villagers are trying to take out the ram. I don't know where Huang's villagers are right now, by the way. They might have died. So he doesn't have any repair vills, but he is going to eat the TC. Yellow has a bunch more scouts, but there's a bunch more knights for Huang all of a sudden, and yellow has to run. And is Huang actually going to do this? Game 5? Tournament Huang? You could tell yellow knows, like, if he doesn't fight this now, he's dead, and the spearmen just get massacred. They get massacred, guys. And that eco lead that yellow supposedly has, that will disappear now, as they're all right here. He's got 24 vills. And all of that will die to the knights if the knights find them. The TC's now gone, so yellow doesn't have a town center. Yellow's trying to bring in some random scouts. Villagers can't fight back. The stable's even going to start to go down. And unbelievable. I think Huang's actually done this. And I think we'll be going to a best of 5. Another best of 5, that is, to try and qualify for Gold League. Wow. This dude's special, man. And again, you know, this comes as a compliment to him. But also... no, it just comes as a compliment to him, but it's a saying that you can really not apply to any other player. He puts himself in these situations where it's so risky, it's so insane, it's almost unoptimal, or inoptimal, a lack of optimization. It's just not good. And yet, that not good turns into great things because of how he plays it. From the repairs to the conversions to the healing to the timing to the boldness of it all. Like building the siege workshop right in front of that guy's face. What a series, man. What a series. And resources collected in this game. I mean, Nahuel, I feel bad for him. He had more wood. He had more food collected. He needed to do a couple tweaks. And I'm going to tell you what those tweaks are in a second. But I feel bad for Nahuel because he also could have won game one. If you watch the first game, that's a game that he probably should have won. But he had a bit of a brain fart where he placed his castle. So Huang squeaks by. Obviously lessons for him. And it will be a best of 5 between Huang and Overtaken to see who makes it into Gold League. And I can guarantee you, everyone who's in Gold League is going to be so upset if Huang goes through. Like, the idea of the league and the way it works is every week you're playing a different opponent. The last person you want to have to play is Huang. You can't avoid the guy. You're always going to play him if he's in your group. Actually, could be insane if Huang qualifies. But again, it'll be Huang Overtaken, and I think that Overtaken is like the small things that Nahuel struggled with villager killing is the opposite of who Overtaken is. Like Overtaken is max aggression, and he's finding villager kills that people normally don't find. I think Huang could. It would be a fun series, but I think Huang could have some problems there. Now, I want to talk about what Yellow did wrong, because a lot of people are going to be like, well, what could he have done differently? Because he had 4 pawns, and I kind of touched on it. And I want to show you. Now, it's easier said than done, but this is, in my opinion, where things went wrong. So, obviously, he's got the pressure here. In almost every single game that I see on this map, after you've got the range, and after you've got the blacksmith, and after you're making army, this dock is producing fishing ships. To my knowledge, he didn't do that till much later. Also, it looks like they were on shorefish. This should have had, like, 2 more fishing ships. This dock completes. Again, much easier said than done, but these are realities you have to do. This should have a couple more fishing ships before this dock, right? Because what you're doing, and then even here, once you've killed Huang's fish, and you know he's not competing, this also has fishing ships. So, from this point onward, at around the 17th minute, you should have 10 fishing ships. You go to the 17th minute, he's got 6, but like this could have been fishing like crazy. This could have been fishing like crazy. This could have been fishing like crazy. And so it was just late. Because if he has more food, he can make more scouts. And then I think also, a couple bad fights hurt him. But, that's just what happens with Huang. Like, I played a game against Huang, which I actually ended up winning like 2 weeks ago. And I still lost my TC. But I won because I had expanded my eco to a point where I could just spam full feudal and take bad fights against this crazy knight scorpion crap. And then you just ends up having nothing. So, like, the idea of the counterattack hitting the gold was right. The idea of expanding the pawns was right. But getting the dock up on the pond isn't enough. You need the dock so you can add the fishing ships. And he actually made it too difficult for himself by going to the other ponds instead of just using the ponds that he already had. So it was just a little greedy there, and he got punished by a player who is Mr. Greed himself in just a different way. So, if this hits YouTube later on, let me know what you thought about it. Listen, I already said that Huang wouldn't make it to that best of 5 versus Overtaken. I thought that Nahuel would win this series. Huang has proved me wrong. Maybe Huang can prove me wrong again. I'm excited to see that series, though, because they both have played each other a decent amount, but not a ton compared to like Nahuel and Huang or myself and Huang and all these guys that play a bit more along the lines of his time zone. And again, it would just be like a crazy, crazy series regardless. If it's a 3-0, it has the potential to go 3-0 either way with how Huang plays and how Overtaken plays. So I'm pumped. Hope you guys enjoyed the series. Hope you guys enjoyed the extra content, the casting, TTL Silver. There will be more. So thank you for watching.